Good morning, Bobby Freeman here. Welcome back, my friends. Today I want to talk about politicians and why are they so old? Because I don't understand. Why has that become the norm? Why has that become the paradigm for a politician, an old person with grey hair? Look at our House of Commons, right? Where we I was going to say where we keep our politicians, where our politicians go to debate things and roar and shout and make a big bloody noise. It is a sea, a veritable ocean of grey hair. You can hear click, click, click of Werther's original clicking off false teeth. It probably stinks of piss. I know that's a slightly negative stereotype, but stereotypes exist for a reason. And yes, you do get the odd young one thrown in there for good measure, but I reckon it's got to be a good 98% what you would call an old, wrinkly, grey-haired person. And I just don't understand why that is. Is it because old is perceived to be wise? Because from what I've seen in our government, and indeed the whole of the House of Parliament, there doesn't seem to be a great deal of wisdom on display. In fact, if I wanted to make a nice little quip about it, I would say that wisdom is not very common in the House of Commons. On the contrary, in fact, I'd say that stupidity is probably more widespread than wisdom. I think in the wisdom to stupidity scale, wisdom is way down there and stupidity is ruling the roost. And it's not just us. It's not restricted to the UK. It's a worldwide thing. Look at Biden, for goodness sake. I mean, Joe Biden, right, President of the United States, okay? Joe Biden, I think he seems like a lovely guy. He seems like a nice old boy, friendly fella. You know, I'd love to have him there at a family party, be looking after the kids. I'd like to sit on his knee and have him read me a bedtime story. However, would I like him to be in charge of the most powerful country in the world with his finger on the button? No. And I know we live in a world now where people are going to be looking at this video thinking, oh, you're just being ageist. They love to say that you're something ending with ist. He's being ageist. He's just being rude because Biden's old. Well, I suppose, technically I kind of am. But some things, common sense has to take over at some point. The guy, he flounders over his words all the time. It must be I'd be embarrassed if he was the leader of my country. When he's doing an interview and he just goes, constantly gets names of countries wrong. You get our new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he said congratulations to Rashid Sunak. I guess he was thinking, Rishi Sunak doesn't sound very Indian to me. I better Indian it up a little bit. And before you start saying, oh, that was a racist comment, Freeman, I'm actually engaged to an Indian lady and she thought it was funny. And to be fair, in this country, we have just elected our youngest leader. I don't know if it's ever, but certainly for a very long time. Rishi Sunak is actually 43 or 44. He's only like 2 years older than me. I mean, look at me. Can you imagine me being Prime Minister? It's a terrifying thought, but at least we've tried it now. We've got someone young and dynamic who's not going to forget their name and other people's names and the names of major countries. But he's still surrounded by this horde of octogenarians. And I think it's about time we kind of redress the balance. I think we need to have a huge clear out. Anyone who's an MP over the age of, I don't know, this is starting to get a bit dodgy, isn't it? But anyone sort of who looks a bit old, looks like they might fall over, looks like they, you know, looks like when they eat their lunch, their tongue comes out like that. Anyone like that, get rid of them. I know it seems harsh. It seems harsh, and if ever I come to power, I'm sure I'd be criticised heavily for it. However, I'm not at the moment, so I will continue. Get rid of them all, send them all out, have a new vote. You've got a maximum age of, what should we say? Let's say 50, just to be safe. Again, no, 50 is not old. That's a good age, and I like it. And it's only 9 years away from where I am. Get some new ones in, get some young blood, and let's start again. I guarantee you the country would definitely be in a better place. Because if you look at big multinational companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, how many of them have all old people on the board or on the management team or in charge? No, well, very, very few of them, I think. Particularly if you're looking like Silicon Valley, it's all run by young people. So let's, what more important company can you get than a goddamn country? And even worse, in this country, we have something called the House of Lords, which is kind of a weird, unelected House of Parliament in a separate room, slightly nicer room than the normal House of Parliament, where the Lords go. Some of them who are just born into it, they are hereditary Lords. Some of them have just been made Lords. And they go in there and they have a say in our rules and our laws and how they're made and how they're passed. Yet they are completely unelected. And though, if you thought the House of Parliament, the House of Commons was old, you want to see this place. It is like an old people's home. There's pictures, if you can Google it online. They turn up, they get paid about, I don't know, 700 quid or something just for turning up for the day and listening. And half of them genuinely go to sleep. They sit down for 2 seconds, they're like, And these dozy old farts have genuinely got a hand in making law and how the country works. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. Burn the lot down. Make sure they're out of there first. Obviously, I'm not that hardcore. But burn it down. Burn the house law. We don't need it. Oh, don't burn it down. Just leave it as, I don't know, put some homeless people in there. It looks comfy, looks warm to me. It's got to be warm because all these old farts are, I love that word old fart. I've used it twice now, haven't I? It's a word that you should use. We don't see it enough on YouTube and in the mainstream media, but I'm going to be campaigning for to be used more often. By the way, if you're an old fart and you're offended at that statement, please put a comment in the section below. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Press the like button on the video. If you want to support the show, head to the Patreon page or click the join button below this video. But until next time guys, I'm Bobby Freeman. Stay safe.